Jesus Christ calls us to welcome our brothers and sisters wherever they come from in the world, to feed the hungry, to shelter the homeless. The message is clear. My good black dress, zapatos, shoes in English, were dusty from crossing the mountains of California. It was 1989, I was 18, and those shoes, my only good ones, had cost me a week's worth of wages. I would keep them through the years to come. Graduated from college in them, polished them before my wedding. But in those moments, I wasn't thinking about those shoes. I was just trying to figure out where I was. My name is Pedro Gonzalez. I am an MCC service worker and live in Houston, Texas with my wife, Michelle, and our 5 children. This is my story. My journey began in San Nicolás, municipio de Islahuacán del Río, Jalisco, Mexico, a one-street town with a few adobe houses and cornfields separated by stone walls. I lived there with my 13 brothers and sisters. My father farmed other people's land, and even when we all helped, we didn't have enough money. When I was about 12, my father moved us to the city of Guadalajara. After 9th grade, I began working full-time in construction so I could contribute to helping the family. All my life, I had heard stories about the United States. People could pick up bags of money from the streets of New York, and the minimum wage for an hour was what I made in a day. I heard about stories too, but like everyone else, I didn't think they could happen to me. It was my curiosity that actually brought me to the United States. My father said I wouldn't do it because I was too shy, but my cousin and I jumped a train and rode to the border. The coyotes, people who immigrants paid to guide them across the border, hit us in Tijuana in a building with 150 to 200 other people. We walked across the border for 4 or 5 hours through the mountains at night, then were loaded in a pickup truck on the US side. My older brother, who lived in Los Angeles, paid the coyotes $400 for me, a low sum compared to the $2,000 to $3,000 charged now. I stayed in Los Angeles for a few months, then moved to Houston, Texas, where my sister was living. As I became more involved in a Catholic church there, I began to wonder if I had a vocation for the priesthood. That was the beginning of a lot of changes in my life. I was sent to San Francisco by the church, where I lived in a house with other young men considering the priesthood and worked to improve my English. A lawyer began working on my application for permanent residency. In 1996, I became a resident of the United States. By that time, I had finished a 2-year program in English as a second language and transferred to the College of Santa Fe in Santa Fe, New Mexico. My time of study showed me that I shouldn't be a priest, so I worked and finished college. After I graduated in 1998, I continued working and went to school at night to get a master's degree in business administration. My wife Michelle remembers that when we married in 2001, I polished my dress shoes before the ceremony, and when I graduated with my master's degree, a historic time for me, I wore those shoes again. They had become a symbol of my journey. I continued working for the next few years while Michelle and I began raising our family. We moved from Santa Fe to Houston in 2005. Since June 2006, I had served as a caseworker for MCC Central States Gulf Disaster Response, assessing the needs and situations of families who fled to Houston from Hurricane Katrina or Rita. Many had no relatives to help them. I know how it feels to be far away from family. Of all my brothers and sisters, only 4 of us are in the United States. When I went to visit my family in Mexico after I was documented, they treated me differently. Working on a degree made me a professional person. a suit, not a ranchero. I was different to them and I didn't like it. I was the same person inside, but everyone else had grown up without me. I didn't know my brothers and sisters. That is the hardest thing, being separated from your family. Last May, I had a chance to do a 75-mile trek that retraces the steps many immigrants take through the desert near Tucson, Arizona. I put on those all-dress shoes and wore them across the border. Throughout the 7-day walk, I remember my own journey. I walk in honor of my two brothers who endured their journeys throughout this terrain, but I also walk for those who have died trying to make it to the United States. Jesus Christ calls us to welcome our brothers and sisters wherever they come from in the world, to feed the hungry, to shelter the homeless. The message is clear, especially for us in the United States. It is a country of faith. How can we say we love Jesus if we do not welcome our neighbors? This country was made out of immigrants. It doesn't matter if it is 300 years ago or 20. My dream is that one day we are able to realize that we can live together. Everyone benefits. We can make this country a stronger country. After my trip to Arizona, my historic shoes, as I call them, rest in my closet, still in very good shape more than 20 years after I bought them. Every now and then, I pick up my shoes, sit on the floor with them, and reflect upon my journey. It feels like they're part of me. We have come a long way together.